Patrick Valbaum, your lead community manager, and today we also have Douglas, our NFT project manager. How are you, Douglas?
I'm doing well, thank you. Always love being in an MMA. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining.
Thank you for having you here, man. You're a very good wingman. And so, yeah, as many of you already noticed, yesterday we announced a new partnership with Mars4, and there must be a lot of questions I can imagine. What is Mars4? What does this mean for Ultra? How does this all connect? So that is exactly why we are doing this AMA, so we can dig deeper into what Mars4 is, what type of game it is, all the questions that the community has we will answer today. So today we have Andrew and Nick from Mars4. I think a little round of intros can be appropriate. So starting with you, Andrew, how are you?
Hey, how are you? Thanks, thanks for this opportunity to join in this brilliant crowd, and get closer to Ultra community. My name is Andrew. I'm a CMO of Mars4 project. Have some over 15 years of experience in digital marketing, sales, and customer retention. Different various backgrounds from corporate, from startups to corporate environments. Now I'm working in Mars. So kind of really enjoying this opportunity as well to learn new things, as this is a scientifically inspired blockchain game we're building. And I'd like to pass the word to our game director, Nick, as well.
Hey guys,
Thank you, Andrew.
Sorry.
No, go ahead. We have Nick now on the mic.
Hey guys, I'm Nick. I'm the director of game development at Mars4. I've been making games for, I think, almost going on 20 years at this point. 17. Primarily, always ended up working on sci-fi games. That's always been a passion of mine. That's why I got involved in game design in the first place, because, well, I want to live in about 1,000 years, but I can't do that, so I've dedicated my life to trying to make environments and experiences for people to experience what it may be like to live in a time like that. So, I joined the Mars4 team, very excited about building kind of a survival experience on Mars, mixing tried and true gameplay mechanics such as like exploration, building, crafting, and add into that kind of the unique elements from the blockchain that we get to play with, such as currencies and NFTs, which kind of is, I see as a very natural evolution in gaming. Like, we had free to play, and free to play offered us a lot of very interesting ways to present games and experiences to players, but blockchain really takes it one step further to, I guess, like, it's overused, but it's true, like, to decentralize the gaming elements. And having worked at one of the largest free-to-play games publishers in the world for many years, it's exciting to be able to see a system that's so easily accessible to players also become owned more by the players, become more decentralized, because I'm a huge fan of these kinds of easy onboarding systems, getting anyone able to play, able to earn and progress. But in the classic free-to-play market, it's just, there's nowhere to go after that. And everything that you worked for at the end of the day is still just owned by a publisher. So Web3 gaming has gotten me. It was very exciting to me from the first day that I heard about it.
Oh, definitely. I think we can all definitely agree that's the way to go, empowering the players, giving them back ownership over what they earn in games and their achievements. So yeah, you're preaching to the choir here. So excellent. And so for everybody listening, I think it would be great coming from you, Nick. Could you explain in very simple words or more technical words if you prefer, but let's start with the more general point of view. What is Mars4? Is it a game? Is it a metaverse? What is it?
From my perspective, wait, let me just share some gameplay footage in the background while I do this.
yeah,
Oh, yeah,
just
that would
one.
be cool. That would be sweet.
And just to clarify something, credit where credit's due, this is not promotional footage we put together. One of our community members just put this video together of his experiences playing the game, and it's better than any of the promotional videos we put together. So credit where credit's due. Mars 4 is a exploration, survival, base building, colonization, massively multiplayer game where players own plots of land and they start their colonization experience just as a colonist arriving on Mars on day one, and then they go exploring their land, mining, crafting, building habitats, expanding their habitats, creating machines and production pipelines, and just building up infrastructure to turn their empty plot of barren land into a habitable colony where other players would be interested in living. And that's one of the player stories in Mars. An important thing is that we want to try and capture multiple different experiences for players to play in. So using kind of a economy-driven MMO philosophy, something similar to EVE Online, where you have people who are builders, crafters, explorers, miners, traders, and everyone kind of working together in that ecosystem. So what we're seeing is some players will own land and will develop that land themselves or invite other players to come develop it with them. Then you have people who dedicate themselves more just to resource extraction and trading with other players. Then you have people who dedicate themselves to transportation of goods across Mars, to being like cargo drivers of vehicles, something I'll show you in another video. And that's, I guess, the TLDR version of it.
No, that's looking super cool. I'm watching this gameplay. I can imagine it's a little bit speed up because
Yeah, we sped it up a bit as this
okay.
is this what you're seeing right now is
The guy
a
building
few
his base.
weeks of work. Yeah, this is a few weeks. It's all cut to beautiful music and stuff like that, which is why it cut and edited so forth.
Okay, I thought he was in a
um,
rush. He was running out of oxygen or something like that.
Well,
And
he would be, but that part's been cut out of this. This is just him showing off a massive base that he built over the span of a few weeks.
oh, that looks incredible.
And Childlight showing it all off. Yeah, that's why I said it's when it comes to showing off the gameplay, showing off what our community is already doing is so much better than any promotional work we can do, because to build what he has built takes so much time and effort and mastery of the game that our community regularly is outpacing us as developers in terms of actually being good at our own game, which is
that's amazing.
Beautiful. That's the ideal, but it is quite funny.
And clarify one thing for me. This footage is from a beta access part. Is this already playable for everybody?
Yes,
I downloaded already from the website a version of the game. I played a little bit in the morning. I fell off a cliff. I died very, very quickly. But I imagine watching this the screenplay that there's a lot of stuff extra, of course, that you can do. I just barely brushed the surface, but it's available for everybody. That's my main question.
Correct. It is available for everyone. The current demo version, which is the footage you're seeing right now, is available for everyone. It's still missing many features. We're still expanding, updating, tweaking based on community feedback on a regular basis, and working through our roadmap. At the moment, what we're focusing on is refining the core gameplay loop, getting player feedback in a single player experience, and then we'll be adding private servers, so players will be able to invite their friends and build their bases together. And then near the end of this year, we will be launching in a persistent multiplayer fashion where the development work in progress that you're doing will be saved. At the moment, as it's still very much in development, we're adding new features and rebalancing stuff. There is a few resets as we're going, we haven't done one yet, but there will definitely be some. But every time we come out with a new patch or feature expansion, we figure out a way to implement it without requiring a reset. So we try to do it as rarely as possible, because when you see some of your community build a base like this, it's just tragic to tell them, no, you need to start over again. So
No, yeah, all of
resets and
their
stuff are
hard
very,
work.
very rare.
Yeah,
But
hopefully it can be
there will
saved
be,
somehow and they don't lose it.
exactly. There will be at least one before we go live into persistent multiplayer near the end of the year. As obviously, as a play to earn game, like there's lots of tweaks and changes to the economy and balancing and so forth that go on before we can actually set it live.
Perfect. And since you mentioned that topic, how could a player, for example, earn or monetize their experience in this game? I can imagine this person here was very committed to building his base, but maybe perhaps somebody else goes in a different direction, wants to be a miner. What can you mine on Mars? How can you sell it? How does that work? Or how is it going to work?
So that's actually a great question. Both of them. How is it going to work and how does it work right now? Because building such a game is a massive undertaking, so it will take quite a while before the completed project is live. However, wait, I have another cool video here.
Oh, that was so entertaining. I was so into it.
Yeah,
He was about to get on the vehicle, like the best part.
No, that's the second vehicle. This is a different base that he made, a different video for a race competition we had, and we allowed one entry for a creative video instead of just a racing video. So this was one of the community members' racing video entries. So because it's such a large project, and there's a long roadmap and many steps before we can get to full play to earn implementations. What we've done is we are developing the core gameplay systems and the play to earn monetization systems in parallel. So the play to earn monetization systems are already up and functioning on our Mars Control Center, which is I believe marscontrolcenter.com. Andrews, can you correct me on the URL?
Control.mars4.me.
Yes, that.
Yes.
So on there, you're already able to use your NFTs to explore your lands, to mine resources on them, to rent out your vehicles for Mars4 and all of that. So that element of the free to play play to earn. Sorry, I've been saying free to play for like 17 years of my life, so I keep making this mistake. Are already up and functioning on the website. And then in the 3D game at the moment, as it is still a demo and still very much in development, we haven't implemented any of the play to earn systems yet. However, the NFTs that you purchase and any assets you own, you can interact with within the 3D game. Just the resources you mine in the 3D game are not persistent and cannot be traded or anything like that at the moment.
And all of these tradings are done in that link that you send me, the Mars4 Control Center. Is that, or do you use an external marketplace?
Nope, it's all done there. There is still a lot of development left to be done on that side as well. At the moment, our marketplace is not up and running yet. What we have is the primary way to earn at the moment through your NFTs is by renting out vehicles. And renting out vehicles to other players, and players are using vehicles to explore their lands and also to mine resources on their lands. And then those vehicles those resources then will be used for upgrading and building on those lands. And that's functionality that's coming very soon. I'm not sure if the date on that's public or not yet, so I'll keep my eyes shut about that. That's
your roadmap seems to be packed with very interesting stuff coming in the future. And percentage-wise, how far do you think the game is right now versus what you want to have it when it's done? Would you say you're at 30, 40% there, or what would you say is the progress?
So, marketing's not going to like this, but as a game designer, there is a truth that no game is ever finished. there's always something you want to add to it. There's always something you want to polish. There's
That
always
is true.
something
So
you want to expand on.
iterative process. Yeah.
Yeah. So where it's according to the roadmap and like where we want to be for like 1.0 launch, I would say we're probably about 65% of the way there. And
You
that's
already have
something.
you already have a playable game. Like this is something
Yeah.
people can already
Oh, you
enter,
didn't play it
join.
for a long time. It's rough. Like the tutorial is really crap and placeholder. There's lots more systems we're adding in, but of all the systems we want to have in and functional, a lot of them are already there. And the ones that are missing, like the farming and agriculture systems, it's not live yet, but they're already very far along in development. So I'd say around that side. The Yeah, I think around 65%.
Yeah, that's perfect. I mean, I didn't want to put you in the spotlight there with the
No,
exact
I don't
number, but
mind.
just have like a ballpark idea, especially because it looks like such a finished product already. Like I saw that gameplay, and that is 65. I can't even wait for what 100 looks like. What did you get Elon Musk's approval for this? Did he give his opinion yet?
I don't know. They don't let me out of the basement very often.
Oh
This is
man,
one of the few times I've been able to speak to people outside the development team or in our community.
well, we thank them for that. It's a real pleasure. And Douglas, what do you think a little bit about this from an NFT project manager point of view? Like seeing this whole future economy thing, how you can actually use your NFTs in the game. And how do you think something like this could fit at Ultra? Because I know all of the Ultra community members are looking at this right now. They might, and lots of them might be thinking, "This is pretty cool. How does this fit into Ultra's plans?" Do you think, Douglas?
Well, I think it's such a great example of a game sort of emulating a lot of the values that Ultra has in terms of developing this internal economy with multiple factors sort of feeding into the same narrative. And as soon as we got in touch with the team and I took a look at the game and I took a look at the possibilities in terms of NFT collections, like for me it was a no-brainer. I think it just goes along, and our entire theme of moving into the Ultraverse is built on sort of innovation and futurism, and Mars4 sort of captures that really well. So I thought it was, completely no-brainer. It falls completely in line with what our community are expecting and what Ultra is trying to build towards. And having games of this quality and sort of these internal economies inside games powered by NFT transactions, and what can I say, a community economy essentially, is exactly what we're trying to move towards. So for me, it makes complete sense, and we're in very early stages of sort of discussing what a drop on Ultra would look like. And I know that the Mars4 team have got some very exciting drops coming soon. So I'm just super grateful they've been so amicable with us, and we've sort of come up with a really good partnership. And I think the progression of the NFT projects that they build separately and that get built on Ultra are going to be sort of a natural extension of our relationship with them. I know that sounds like a lot of big words and unnecessary talk, but I'm just really excited about what the NFTs are going to mean for not only Mars4 on the Ultra, but also Ultra as a whole. I think it's going to be a great step forward, and we're going to definitely be using Mars4's structure as they drop on Ultra for future collections. I have no doubt. I mean, if you look at the quality of it, it's going to be an
Great. It's great, right? Like, and Andrew, like speaking and touching this topic that Douglas just mentioned, future drops that might come to Ultra, that is particularly exciting for me. What type of items? Because you mentioned vehicles, you said items and mining and resources. For example, just to give us maybe like a possibility of what to expect down the line, what could be an NFT drop looking like for the Ultra community, and what could they use those NFTs inside the game for?
Sure. Yeah, I'll probably start with a little prehistory, so to understand the evolution of the NFTs in our ecosystem. So far we have released two collections of in-game vehicle NFTs, and as we were testing along the utility of land exploration and mining on our Mars Control Center, in a way we prioritized these collections instead of a colonist NFTs. And the colonist NFTs are coming up, the first wave is coming up next month. and these are going to be the most experienced miners, explorers. And actually, this gives us an opportunity to go into broader waters, because before this collection, there is a very beautiful story, and there is the whole visual identification system behind the colonists, and yeah, we are going with a Mars Masks collection, with 2 days mint on our website, and then
Does that mean, sorry, that having or minting an NFT, one of the Mars Masks NFT, you can have your personalized mask inside the game? Is that what it means?
Not straight away. We are looking into developing this in the future. These Mars masks, they will serve as PFP, as
okay. Like the ones you and Nick have right now.
Yeah, one of them. But they have as well utility that they will be a ticket to free colonist, in-game colonist NFT from the first wave, and as well opportunities. That's the only opportunity to get a legendary colonist NFTs.
Where could the community, because I can imagine people in the community now must be wondering what these NFTs are, and where can they read more about it? Feel free to drop your Discord server from Mars4 now on the chat so people can enter. But just a reminder, from Mars4 they just dropped a link in the chat a little bit higher. If you scroll up, it's a Alphabot giveaway, so you can just enter. You have to fulfill some basic tasks, and you'll be participating to win one of the Mars Masks NFTs that they will be dropping, I think, on the Ethereum blockchain. So yeah, so for people who are tuning in, they can check those out. But I can imagine in your Discord, people can find all the information about what these collections are.
Yes, indeed, and I just pasted the link about Mars Masks collection, so you can find all the information, the supply, mint schedule, and the ways to allow list in there. So yeah, so it's our sort of first time opportunity, first time when we're going outside, of developing just in-game NFTs. Yeah, we use this opportunity as well to attract new type of users. So in the future, looking ahead, we have planned a few more vehicles collections, because we have to serve all around of operations while building the colonies on Mars. And as well, the development of colonists and different waves of colonists. You have different skill set arriving in different waves. And let's say going further, looking further to Q3, we would be looking in adding parts for colonists as well as suit, and these should be upgradable. Same applies for vehicle NFTs as well. So yeah, it's the whole NFT ecosystem is planned around. And for those who like fun, we're considering having a Mars4 Music NFT, which would bring another layer of fun. Hello?
Yeah, sounds good. Sorry, I just forgot I was on mute. By the way, anybody who's tuning in, they can download the demo game, and they can already play the same features and functions that you're seeing in the live stream right now. What's the link? It's mars4.me.
That's
Yes.
correct.
Yeah, correct.
However, the tutorial is kind of outdated and is in the process of being reworked. So if you have any questions or confusion or comments or bug reports or whatever, feel free to drop it on our Discord server. All the developers are fairly active. Well, not all of them, but many of the developers are fairly active there. Some of them are antisocial and are not allowed to talk to the public. They bite. But yeah, so if you have any questions or comments, feel free to drop us messages there.
Yeah, by the way, now's the time, boys. Anybody from the community who has any questions regarding the game, this partnership might mean for the Ultra community, feel free to drop them now in the chat. I'll try to read them and maybe address any that comes through.
Someone asked what Web2 game inspired you. It's a variety of games. Mechanically, most of the inspiration came from games like Ark Survival Evolved, Age of Conan, what was it? Exiles? No, Conan Exiles, that's what it was, sorry. Conan Exiles, Ark, Rust, Minecraft, of course, but specifically the building mechanics that we went a bit closer to were that kind of geometric based systems that you find in Ark, Rust, Age of Conan, those types of games, because No Man's Sky uses a very similar building system. The reason I wanted to go more in that direction is because with that building system, you still have a lot of freedom in terms of how players can build. However, at the same time, you can still keep a bit more realistic visuals and stuff. Like, as you can see in here, people are able to express themselves how they want with domes and different shaped rooms, like build it out however they please, yet at the same time, it has a air of realism and kind of higher quality graphic visuals than you can do with a voxel-based system like Minecraft. We also took a lot of notes, a lot of ideas in the survival system and character mechanics from stuff like Death Stranding. And yeah. Is there enemies in the game
Some
that will
people
try
are
Okay.
yeah, they want to know if there's aliens, basically.
At the moment, there isn't. However, there is rumors that they may be included in a future update. I'm not at liberty to say any more than
No,
that.
maybe invasion, Martian invasion.
You see, you never know when the first waves of colonists will spend enough to produce a new generation of Martians who are born there. So we'll see what will come out of that.
I'm super excited to play a little bit more. Clearly, I have to improve my game. I was, as I said, wandering and I fell off a cliff. And the game is realistic, so if you fall, you have some, I believe, like a little bit HP in bar. I fell a couple of times and I died. But you have also like your oxygen levels. You're walking around, and every now and then you have to get some reserves of oxygen. What other, for example, elements
Yeah.
or resources that you have to be collecting constantly to be able to survive besides the obvious ones?
As you see right here, actually, the name of the video won't go away. All right. So as you see here, oh, that's annoying. You have on the left the character. You have oxygen, body temperature, health, and encumbrance are the three main stats that you're always keeping in mind. Oxygen and then food and water are to be introduced in an upcoming update. And those will be your main survival stats: oxygen, food, and water. Temperature is a environmental thing you'll always need to take into consideration. However, your suit does have a battery reserve that can warm you, but the colder the temperature you're in is, the faster that will drain. This also is one of the main advantageous reasons for building bases. Bases include an airtight system, so if you build a properly sealed base, then you can build heating systems and oxygen purification systems or atmosphere production systems in that sealed environment and make it completely habitable even without your suit. And that's where a lot of the strategy comes from, in the sense of managing those resources in your travels and exploration and expansion throughout your land.
I can imagine that a lot of investigation must have been invested into this, like in the background, understanding a little bit about the conditions on Mars, how to build. It all looks super realistic, and the way you describe it looks like there was a lot of time and effort invested into making this look as real as possible.
Oh, yes. There is, from all levels, basically everyone in the design team has invested a lot of time in researching on so many things about how to work on Mars, what all our current plans on how we would construct on Mars. Like here, this base you're seeing, and currently in the demo, we have some fairly high tier building pieces that are all based on ceramics and metals, but the lowest tier building pieces will be built out of dirt that is just filled into like sandbag styles, because that's one of NASA's current concepts of a very efficient way to build. There's also will be structural pieces built out of mushrooms that are grown into molds and then dried in the Martian atmosphere, which is, as we've discovered recently, surprisingly structurally stable. And that's another one of the things NASA wants to experiment with. So a lot of the ideas we had on how systems work, how visuals are, everything has been basically just doing research on what are the current theories that NASA is testing out and kind of sifting through those to find what we think adds to the gameplay experience. Because at the end of the day, a 100% realistic experience may not be the most fun one. So we need to find a balance between something that is realistically inspired and is immersive, yet at the same time is still a fun experience. And that's why we've done stuff like, for example, the vehicles in the game, they're quite fast. Realistically, you wouldn't have fast vehicles because you don't want to risk a crash, because you don't have spare parts.
Okay,
but
so
that's
as
like,
realistic as possible
fun.
without taking away the fun. You know, like you don't want to
Exactly.
have a slow race wouldn't be very fun.
Exactly. And at the end of the day, we all know like driving fast vehicles, jumping off of cliffs and stuff is a lot of fun. So we took those ideas. And another good example is like these vehicles, like the one on scene right now, is a fairly small vehicle in the game. We have significantly bigger ones, but even this, the wheels are about 6-7 feet tall. So it's still a massive vehicle, but we took it from a scientific perspective. On Mars with 1/3 gravity, it means that aluminium is now 3 times stronger than titanium per weight by Earth standards. So building massive vehicles becomes way easier. Like the same vehicle may not even function on Earth just because it wouldn't be able to support its own mass. But on Mars with reduced gravity, it opens up a lot more design elements because the weight of things that they need to support is just structurally far less compared to the strength that they're offering. So
Oh, definitely. Like
we
I
gotta
love how
play
you
a lot more.
actually, I love how you guys really thought it through and made all these things as accurate as possible without taking away the fun element. What's the name of this particular vehicle that I'm seeing here? It has a funny little
This
dome
is
on
the
it.
Terrapin. This is the Terrapin. It is a Terrapin GPRV, which stands for Ground Penetrating Radar Vehicle. That dome you're seeing is to scan about a 30-meter radius around the vehicle, and it will give you a breakdown of the mineral composition of the rocks of the environment around the vehicle. So this is used for exploring, like ahead of a mining party, to find whatever resources you're looking for more efficiently. So, for example, if you're looking for iron or gold or aluminium, whatever it may be, you drive around with this vehicle, you can scan your land very efficiently with it, and then mark the locations that you want to come back later with and mine.
The level of
I'm
game
sorry.
is
Go for it, Andrew.
Oh no, I was saying the level of thought behind this game is incredible.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. Like seeing it also. Sorry, I called you Andrew. Douglas. It's crazy realistic. One question from the community, maybe Nick, you can answer. Is there, when this goes multiplayer, will it be a Pacific multiplayer settings? Like, will you be able to attack other people, or it's more like The Sims, where everybody kind of interacts and socializes?
There won't be any direct conflict on the surface of Mars, because at the end of the day, your base is built out of resources which you probably purchased from someone who made it their job to mine them. So if you could go to sleep one day and wake up the next day and a bunch of trolls just like blew through the door to your base and robbed you, that would not be a good player experience. So what we're doing is the surface of Mars is peaceful in terms of player versus player or base raiding. However, we will be adding in areas where there will be combat, such as in the in the atmosphere above the planet, or there will also be some other threats out in the wilds of Mars. But there won't be direct player-on-player engagements around players' bases. So the investment you make in your base is persistent, and you don't need to worry about it being attacked or raided or whatever.
Okay, I know some people were already thinking in the community, how do I raid? How do I sneak on my neighbor who has an amazing mansion base and take away his resources? But I love the way this all sounds is in a very, very profound, in a complex way, but also entertaining and interesting because it is actually like being over there. And I'm so happy to see interesting games like this come to Ultra. I don't know. I've never seen like a particular game like this. I don't know if there's any like competitors out there doing something like this. I haven't seen it at least. But yeah, I'm super happy to see this arrive to Ultra. I can't wait to see it on Ultra Games and people playing it and building on it, because that's the fun part when they start building these complex bases with their own resources and everything. It's where the creativity starts to flourish, and you see what the community is actually capable of. And as you said, they're even better than the people who created the game. So that's one of the cool things that I think will happen.
Yeah, and I can add in here, as you mentioned, Patrick, for marketing is pretty tough exercise to find like direct competitors, because when you look at this player versus environment, that sort of section, those type of games, there are not so many in blockchain world. And I fully appreciate, more competitive type of players. They definitely would like to get the challenge and this type of activities. But then again, if you look the players' sort of profile, majority of them are social, and majority of them are collaborative, and then there are groups who goes into achievers categories or killers categories. And I think Nick quite well illustrated that. Mars has so many opportunities from it, and from sort of development perspective and law perspective, and we can create those spaces, places, as well, with collaborations from other projects. We're already talking with other similar type of projects, maybe, and they're keen, to build a racing track on Mars, or some sort of fighting arena, and maybe that's possible as well. So
I
yeah.
see the community is really interested in the game. It looks so interesting. Are the length of the days also accurate with the actual day lengths of Mars?
Interestingly, the day lengths on Mars are almost the same as on Earth. I think it's like 30 minutes difference. However,
Yeah,
we
okay.
didn't go with realistic day lengths. Originally we did, but then we realized a problem. That means that you may be playing in a location on Mars. That means every time you log in your time zone, let's say like after work, it's always nighttime. And that we felt just wasn't a good experience for the player. So we shortened at the moment, that was the feedback we got from the community. So at the moment, we shortened the day lengths down to 1 hour. So in an hour, you'll see a sunrise and a sunset. And that's what we're playing with the community at the moment, so that no matter what time you get online to play, you're able to experience the full day-night cycle. However, this is still something very much that we're discussing with our community, and we're always open to feedback on it.
Oh, excellent. Makes sense. Yeah.
And that's a really big thing to note about the way we've gone about producing it. It's one of the reasons why we went with this roadmap, where we started with a single player experience as quickly as possible to get something playable in our community's hands to start getting feedback. Because at the end of the day, developing a game, you can't do it in isolation. It's kind of like a joke isn't funny if no one listens to it. Like, you don't know if a joke is funny until other people listen to it and they laugh or they don't. So that's been our priority from day one, is get the game in people's hands to see if it's fun and to get their feedback and to be evolving based on that. And based on that feedback, we've already made countless changes and tweaks to the original design, because, well, if that's what the players want and that's what they're enjoying, then obviously that's the right direction to go.
Yeah, no, and if it's feedback you're after, I'm sure the Ultra community already are downloading the game and can definitely provide some very useful feedback for the gameplay, for any recommendations for multiplayer. There are a lot of gamers in the community, so I think this partnership aligns perfectly with what you guys are trying to build. And let me say again, congratulations on this game. It looks so cool, so interesting, so different from anything I've seen right now until now, and especially if we want to use the title Web3 gaming or not. But yeah, it's looking really good. Douglas, I don't know if you have any comments or any last questions considering the time.
It's been pretty thorough, and every conceivable sort of angle has been explained. So no, I just appreciate the Mars 4 team, taking the time to come on the AMA, explain it to the community. It looks amazing. Super excited.
Yeah, thank you so much. Well, I'm going to rake through a little bit the chat, see if we have any last questions, but I see Nick very efficiently have been answering them also on the text side. So yeah, it's looking amazing. I just love this. I love this format of doing the AMA with the actual gameplay repeating itself in the back. So thank you guys for coming so prepared. You just turned what is normally an audio experience into also a visual one. So that is always easier when you want to show how a game is. So yeah, thank you so much. I don't know if there's any last comments that either Andrew or Nick you would like to tell the community.
So yeah, thanks a lot for this opportunity. We're really glad to join Ultra ecosystem and yeah, be in a partnership with you as well. Really appreciate the feedback from the community. So and yeah, thanks for allowing us to choose this way, of demo, because me and Nick we constantly discuss it's like what would be the best format, and here you go. Yeah, maybe next time we'll show what's happening already on our dashboard game, Mars Control Center. But yeah, feel free to explore. We try to answer as well all the questions being raised. So see you someday in Mars.
I'm looking forward to it. And also thank you so much, Nick, for that very detailed experience and the explanation of how this game and metaverse is going to turn out.
No, my pleasure. Thank you guys for having me.
Alrighty, guys, you heard it here first on the Ultra Discord. Thank you so much for tuning in. This was a great AMA, very interesting one. I really enjoyed it, so I hope you all also enjoyed it. We will have a recording of this cool experience that we had today, so we will be sharing it maybe in the coming days with you. So yeah, thank you again, everybody, for tuning in. Have a great Friday and a great weekend.
Thanks so much, team.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks,
Ciao,
guys.
ciao.
Have a good weekend.
You too.